Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
How's it going, man?
It's going great. You're
Well,
Ruben.
yeah, this is Ruben from knec.com. So looking forward to the record. I already got the advanced stream, but pre-ordered the record. It sounds pretty cool. It's another super group. I don't know if this was another one of those Frontiers things where they, built a dream team of people, and obviously a lot of the people that are featured in this iconic band that you guys have put together are folks that have history with Frontiers. So tell me about how this all came together and how you feel about it.
I think that Frontiers was looking for a group of classic rock musicians to surround Nathan James, who's a younger guy, been
Mhm.
up and coming, fronting his band Inglorious. And Michael Sweet and I had always been talking about doing a project, and I think maybe he had some dialogue with Serafino at Frontiers right around the same time they were thinking about this. And they thought, well, hey, what about putting these two ideas together?
Right.
So let's take Joel and Michael, and maybe Michael can sing a little bit of lead on the record too, and play some lead guitar. But Joel and Michael could be the guitar team, and so that's where what became what they brought to me. And I said, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And they said, don't we'll figure out a drummer and bass player. Don't worry about it. And I kind of thought we'd end up maybe with a couple lesser known musicians or something in those positions. But lo and behold, it's my bandmate Tommy Aldridge on drums. That was a shock. And then Marco Mendoza, who's a dear friend and very talented bass player. So I'm friends with everybody involved. So despite the fact of being a new project, it feels comfortable. I mean, I feel like I know everyone involved. So there you go. That's how it came.
There you go. Yeah, and it is interesting to see Michael Sweet handle some of the guitar playing on this thing. He's usually the guy. Well, in Stryper, he handles the guitar and vocals, so it's kind of an interesting role that he has in this band.
Yeah, I think he's enjoying the fact that he's primarily a guitar player. I think he's viewed himself that way for years. I always pictured the project that we would do someday, because we've been talking about it for years,
Right.
having him on lead vocals. But sometimes life works out differently than you expect, and it can be a pleasant surprise. So this is cool too. Nathan's a great singer. When they trade, I think their voices have two different distinct sounds, and it's fun to hear the contrast between the two. And likewise with Michael and I, when we do trade leads in the songs that we do, I think that we have our own definitive styles. And he's a fantastic rhythm player to work with on an album. He's really tight, plays awesome. And, everybody had a little bit of input as far as the songwriting, which I think was helpful, just so it wasn't just one person saying, well, these are the songs, this is how it's going to go. It came about more like, Michael and Alessandro said, Joel, why don't you write the guitar riffs? And Michael said, look, here's how I do it with George Lynch. He'll give me riffs at a certain tempo that are unarranged. And then that gives him an opportunity to arrange a song out of them that he's kind of hearing in his head. And if it needs an extra riff here or there, then that's his riff that gets inserted. Or, if it's too much, he takes away. But and from there, it kind of went to Nathan and Alessandro to write lyrics and vocal melodies. And I think I just read last night that Michael was actually giving some melody ideas here and there to Ali too. So the three of those guys kind of put their heads together on that. So it was collaborative, which is nice.
Okay. And as far as things go here with the material, I mean, this is all fresh stuff that came, or did you guys pool some riffs like yourself and Michael and stuff like that?
No, I made a conscious effort to just not put anything into the pot that had been sitting around. So I basically, it was very calculated. It was like once a day I would sit down and come up with the riffs for a song, one a day. And so over the course of 12 days or so, had those over to Michael, and Michael arranged them. And yeah, I mean, it's funny, you get done with that and then you don't hear about it for a little bit, and then when you hear the songs in arrangement form, and Michael had already tracked his rhythms when it was time for me to do my parts for the record, it was kind of like hearing it again for the first time and needing to relearn all my riffs anyway.
Right, right.
And then after you've tracked your parts, it goes off and everybody else does their stuff, and you don't necessarily hear it again for a couple months until mixes start coming in, and then you go, oh wow, it's like hearing it again for the first time. So
Right.
yeah, we always feel kind of like surprised as it moves along.
Yeah, and you've guessed it on Michael's solo album. So I mean, like you said, you have history with everybody in this band, whether it's TSO or Whitesnake or just
I also
you know.
co-wrote with Nathan for a couple of the Inglorious albums. So I
Okay,
think two of the tracks on the newest record that they put out, I co-wrote, and one of the songs on the first album in a very similar fashion, where I wrote just guitar riffs and then let him do his thing.
right, right. Okay, cool. And the record that comes out June 17th,
June
and it's
17th.
titled Second Skin. Um, you have a video out for Nowhere to Run, which is great to see you guys together performing the thing rather than to have like the I guess montage
The green screen.
yeah the green screen and everybody kind of inserted into the thing into the video clip or whatever. But how was the making of this? Because you guys were all jamming. It's a fun video. You guys are obviously enjoying the performance. And will there be more?
Yeah, I mean, we shot two videos when we
Hmm.
went out and took the promo shots, and so there'll be another video coming up for everybody to enjoy. And yeah, I mean, that sort of gets back to my original point in that it's new, but getting together for the video shoot, I had a rapport with everybody, and I knew everyone in the group, so it felt very much like just hanging out with my friends.
As far as things go, though, I mean, I think one of the and it's a valid I guess statement by some of the fans, when Frontiers puts together or helps facilitate these super groups, that then there's no live performance to promote it. Is that something that was in the back of your guys' mind? Is like you want to do some performance of these tunes that you guys have put together for this record?
I think I'm pretty sure everybody would love to do it. It's just a matter of, where it falls in terms
Hmm.
of how do we get that done with everybody's schedules. But I would totally be into doing live shows with it someday. This year, though, I'm really committed to the Whitesnake farewell tour. I'm actually leaving for Dublin today or tonight to get things started. Europe and UK with Foreigner in Europe, and then we're touring Europe with Europe, and I believe a show with Kiss and a show with Steel Panther in there. And there's some more dates for later this year that haven't been announced just yet. So that's going to keep me busy really straight until I go to TSO,
Hmm.
which I do every November, December. So I have an incredibly busy touring year ahead. And I think the Whitesnake farewell tour will easily get into 2023 because we need to be able to hit all the territories that we want to hit for give David an opportunity to say thank you and goodbye to everybody. We're going to be working next year too. So look, you never know. I mean, if the window's there, I'm in.
I imagine you're in for another record at the very least, huh?
There'll definitely be more recording from
Okay.
it for sure. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, at the very least, people get more recordings, and I think all of us would love to do live dates. I mean, certainly Michael, myself, and Nathan have spoke to that we'd love to do some gigs
Hmm.
someday.
No, nice. As far as Whitesnake, I mean, I was going to ask you about that because it is the end, which is hard to believe that a band that well, I didn't discover Whitesnake till about '84, so but
Oh
then I
yeah,
had to
you're
go
in the
back.
U.S., of course.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But then I, went back and checked out the stuff from the '70s, which is great too. I mean, overall, I mean, and even when you came on board, I mean, everything you guys have done has been fairly consistent, and by that I mean consistently great.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's been a great career for David. For me, it's been really an honor to be a part of the band the last 8 years, and I think to have the opportunity to try and give him the best tour possible here um, for this last run is of the utmost importance. I mean, he deserves a great send off, and I'm going to do everything I can on my end to make sure that happens. Um, And that's all. I'm grateful for the experience to be part of the band. You know, I mean, people, will say, well, are you deserving of it? No, I don't know.
Hmm.
I have the gig. I'm really glad to be here, and I think I'm just going to do everything I can to do the best job possible.
Right, right. So the end will go well into like next year. Then it sounds like.
Yeah, I think there's not too much focus on in rehearsals right now of like, hey, this is it, and there's not a lot of that. We're more just like in that land of, gee, we didn't get to see each other for 2 years during COVID, and like, isn't it great to be together?
Right.
And of course, we have a couple new members too, so
Hmm.
that's fun and interesting, and to just see how everything gels. And
Right.
um, but yeah, it's so far the focus has been more on the fact that it's so good to be together. But David has definitely mentioned this is definitely it. This is his last tour in rehearsals, so I
So,
don't think he's gonna pull the move that some artists have, where they continue on for another 10 years after they say this is it.
or maybe not even 10 years. I mean, Motley Crue came back like what, like 5 years or something after 7 years after the fact. So yeah.
You know,
Yeah, as far as the new members, I mean, what do they bring to the table and how have they impacted the sound? Because it's, you guys have obviously been rehearsing and gearing up for, like you said, you're going to what,
yeah.
Ireland or something?
Yeah, we're starting in Ireland.
No.
David's really great about letting people be themselves as musicians and be part of the band and express themselves. Dino Jalusic is incredibly talented on keyboards, and he's coming in as like a second keyboard player to add a
Hmm.
little bit of texture. And he's obviously an amazing singer.
Right.
And I think the plan was initially to maybe have him play some guitar here and there too, but that hasn't actually occurred in rehearsals. So
Mhm.
we may be talking just
Right.
second keyboards and background vocals, but he sounds amazing, and to have the luxury of having him as a background vocalist is kind of insane. He's so great.
Hmm.
And Tanya is an amazing bass player. I mean, she's amazing pocket, great tone. She's really cool. The chemistry has been really great in rehearsals as far as everybody hanging and getting along.
Right. Right. Cool. So things are gelling pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, David seems happier than I've ever seen him right now. It's really wonderful, and that's important to all of us, obviously, but important to me. I just love seeing him being in a good place with it and being. This is you think about the years of work that he's put into Whitesnake, and I
Right.
just want to make sure that this last one is a great one.
Right. Is there a chance, though? I mean, I think there's been speculation, that Whitesnake could go on without Coverdale. I mean, and would you be a part of it?
I had read some interview where maybe he alluded to thinking about that or something. I don't know. I
Hmm.
don't know what the exact words were, and I don't know what the context was. There's been no talk of that, so I don't. I have really nothing to tell you as far
Right.
as whether or not that would happen, but and I really have nothing to tell you as if I would be willing to do something that I don't know is even a real.
Right.
I don't know if that's a real thing or not.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, yeah, for me to comment on that's like out of line.
For you yourself, I mean, performing a lot of these classics. What's one of the classics you love performing, and what's one of the recordings that you were a part of that you like performing live?
I mean, I really like the whole Whitesnake catalog,
Hmm.
and uh, doing that greatest hits tour that we did in 2016 was really
Hmm.
amazing. Just to have
Right.
everything be like. It's like every song on the set was like, wow. Oh, I love this one. I love this one. I love this one. So, but like you, I really enjoy the back catalog too.
Hmm.
I really love how the bluesiness and all those. There wasn't a bad song on any of
Right.
those records. Like every song was like, yeah, that was cool.
Right.
Next one, cool. So I'm just glad to be there playing any of it. And in regards to some of the newer songs that I've been a part of, I mean, I would say it's really fun to play Hey You live. It's
Mm.
fun to watch. some of the songs that we did on Flesh and Blood actually have people not go straight to the bathroom and you know, take a
Right.
break because it's a quote unquote new song like people do. They actually latch onto the chorus and sing along, and we were really surprised. I don't know, surprise makes it sound like we weren't expecting a good reaction, but I guess we were shocked at how many people actually did actively get involved in singing along to the new songs when we did the Flesh and Blood tour.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then obviously I was a big fan of the Purple record too. That was probably a blast to do, huh?
Yeah, for me, that was a great way to join the band. That was already, you know, being worked on and kind of step in and play some classic songs with some great musicians that I was, you know, thrilled to be working with. And it was a great way to come in, you
Hmm.
know, and knowing that there was going to be a tour to follow shortly thereafter was a great feeling. And that tour did really well for us.
Right. Eh, eh, How did you come to be a part of TSO? I don't recall the story behind that, but you've been a part of that for a while too.
Yeah, since 2010,
Right.
Alex Skolnick needed to take a year off
Mm.
he was committing to touring with his jazz trio. And I had a couple friends in the band that recommended me and put my name forward. And I auditioned first with the music director, Al Petrelli,
Mm.
and secondly with the founder, owner, Paul O'Neill. And they both gave me the thumbs up, and I got the gig. And that was a little scary at the time because already was a part of Night Ranger and the Broadway show Rock of Ages, and I
Right.
thought, you know, this is kind of nuts. Am I really taking on a third gig here, and is this going to be the
Mhm.
thing where it all comes unraveled because I've got too much on my plate? But thankfully, you know, the Night Ranger guys were great and gave me November and December off basically to go ahead and pursue that. And Rock of Ages was always great about that. Anytime I ever had anything that else I needed to do, it was very easy to take off on Broadway and be able to go do the touring.
Right.
So it
Nice.
ended up being a great fit. And here, like you said, here I am 12 years later, and it's
Right.
so funny. You know, it's something that for a minute in my mind I was like, I don't know, is this a bad? Am I making a bad move?
Hmm.
And now here I am 12 years later, going, this is like one of the best moves I ever made in my life.
Right. Right. One of the other things that I was going to ask you too, because you were guitarist in Cher's band. I don't know if you still are. But you were performing with her for a bit too.
Yeah, that really began. David was having knee surgery in 2017, and we weren't going to tour. And I just reached out to all my friends and said, "Look, I'm not really hunting for like a full-time new gig or anything because I've got a gig. But if you know anybody that needs a fill-in this year, and you know, throw my name into the hat." And lo and behold, my friend Justin Derrico, who plays for Pink and on The Voice, recommended me to Dave Barry, Cher's guitar player at the time, who was the other guitarist on The Voice. And so it initially started out as Joel's going to come in and fill in for a few shows while The
Mhm.
Voice needs Dave. And then Pink pulled Justin out on a promo tour, and they really, really needed Dave at The Voice. And so that ended up really turning into like 3 years. And what started out as like
Right.
3 days turned into
Right.
like 3 years. So
How many songs did you have to learn for that gig?
I don't recall the exact number, something like 18 or 19, I believe.
Okay.
Something
And
like
going into that, I mean, how familiar were you with her work?
Not much. I mean, really just kind of like the stuff from the 80s that I'd see on MTV, you know,
Hmm.
like, you know, the stuff with the guitars, you
Yeah,
know,
right, right,
they
right.
turned back time and found someone. Um, and of course I got you, babe, you know, I've
Hmm.
watched Groundhog Day just like anybody else.
Right, right. Do you have a cool story from your time performing with Cher?
Um, No, nothing in particular comes to mind. I mean, that initial run when I went out there, they said, "Okay, you're coming out to fill in, and oh, and by the way, we're going to be." She's accepting the Icon Award on the Billboard Awards, like across the street from where the residency is. So, you know, we're going to play on national TV, and that was kind of like that was an exciting thing to be like, wow, not only am I filling in, but I get to
Right.
go on national TV with her. So that's fun. And then there's little stuff. Like she would take us all to the movies, which I thought
Oh,
was
wow.
cool, you know, and then you'd see Cher standing in line for popcorn, you know, and you go like, well, that's something I never thought I would see in my lifetime.
Yeah, no kidding.
But she's wonderful, you know, great professional and was always very, very kind.
Right. Okay. Cool. What's the next tune that you guys shot a video for? And when can we expect that?
You know, I don't think I'm probably not allowed to say, but I mean,
Oh.
the second single. I don't know if I'm allowed
Okay.
to say what the second single is yet, but there will be one more video coming for everybody, and I guess everybody's. You know, I don't have the release date on that in front of me, but
Okay.
like we said the album is June
17th. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
You're more prepared than I am, my friend.
Okay, so Iconic Second Skin. I like the record. I will get more familiar with the record as I just got it a couple days ago, but I pre-ordered the record, so I'll have the physical copy of that thing too. But looking forward to cranking that in the CD player when I get it. And man, looking forward to seeing you with Whitesnake as you guys wind things down, and probably see you with TSO at some point here in the next few months. So
Awesome.
hey, man, thank you for your time. This will go up on knec.com, and we'll get everybody a link, and we'll plug the record, plug your social media, and all that stuff. So thank you very much, man.
Hey, right back at you. Thank you so much. Pleasure chatting.
All right, well, take care.
All right.
Right.
Cheers.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.